Kesha, welcome and welcome back. So I decided to pop on here, like I literally decided this 2 seconds ago. So I'm coming to you in all of my Saturday afternoon realness. Um, just a little update on some of the things that are going on and some encouragement, hopefully, to keep it going. So at the beginning of the year, I think I told you all we did the White Stone meditation, and my word for this year is consistency. So the things that I needed to be consistent about, I've got a four-part morning routine, and I needed, well, let me just tell you. So the four things I need to do every day, I prefer to do them in the morning, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Make my bed, do yoga, meditate, and write a letter to God. Those were my four things that I needed to be consistent about every day. And the reason they're important, making the bed, because getting out of bed and making it, it's like, okay, that part of my day, the evening, is done, and I'm ready to start the new day. And it was just a nice way to kind of get things started. I never really had a problem with that before, but that's because I never did it. But at some point in the last year, I noticed there were days when I didn't make my bed, things just kind of, felt loosey-goosey. But when I made my bed, there seemed to be some definite order and structure. And so I decided to make that part of the plan and just a non-negotiable. And I like it. And it also means that, because, I work from home, and part of my work from home to keep my home and work separate is that when I start my work day, I only stay in the front of the house. I don't go down the hall to the back, to the bedroom, to the back bathroom or whatever. I have a bathroom off my office. And so during the day when I'm working, I only use that bathroom. Rarely do I go into the living room for anything, except for like when I take lunch, I'll leave my office and go into the living room for that. And then I will go to the kitchen, of course. That's my break room. So having that delineation already gave me space and a feeling like, okay, when I'm done with the office, or done with work, I can leave the office and go into the rest of my apartment. So there was that. But I noticed that having the bed made just made everything else in the apartment seem crisper and cleaner. And so that was important. So I've been doing that. Love it. I don't see a reason for that to end. My big mom would be proud. Second thing was getting on the mat and doing yoga. I think I've told you many times about me doing the 10 days or 10 minutes a day. Last year I did that for about 6 months until I fell off. But this year I started up again, and I started either the week before New Year's or right at New Year's, whatever. And I've been solid and consistent every day. And what started out those first couple of weeks as just 10 minutes a day very quickly went to 15. And it wasn't like I made a conscious choice. It was just like, all right, I need a little more, And so that was good. That's been great. And I love my practice. If you want, I can link a video down below, or a couple people that I go to. I like yoga with Cassandra. She's a Canadian yogi, and she's cool. She has a huge number of 10-minute and 10-minute playlists, and she's got some 15-minute ones, and I just like running those every day. And they're easy. They just get the body moving, shake off the night and the sleep, and get me ready for the day. And at 15 minutes, I was feeling like I needed a little more. That was great. So I'm hanging with that pretty strong. This last week, I have to tell you. So now that I've been back on my mat consistently for 6, 7 weeks now, as we move into the third week of January, second week of January, whatever we're in, third week. Last week, or so the week before, I had loaned my mom, this is going back a bit, I had loaned my mom my Ashtanga yoga mat. And, you can use any mat for any type of thing, but I call it my Ashtanga mat because when I lived in Canton, Georgia for 2 years, I was a regular at a yoga studio, and I did an Ashtanga practice 2-3 times a week with that mat. And so that mat is seated with all of my practice, and it has, all the days that I was good and strong, and it held me when I wasn't. So that's my Ashtanga mat, and I let my mom borrow it to see if she would like that style of mat. She didn't particularly care for it or notice the difference, so I was like, let me have my mat back. And while I was thinking about, okay, so my mat's coming back, maybe I want to start my practice again. And it would just had been percolating in my mind. And then on a Wednesday, I picked it up from her house. And that's what it was. So the Sunday before, like, so one Sunday, this was a couple weeks ago, I was like, I want to do yoga. Let's do Ashtanga practice. And that came out of nowhere. And I was like, what? But I went ahead and did it. It's an hour-long practice. It's, it's pretty serious, at least for me, since I was only doing, 10, 15 minutes a day. So I did my hour and a half, and it felt really good. And that was a Sunday. And I was like, hey, yeah, I need my mat back. So on Wednesday night, I got it. And to myself, I was thinking, well, all right, so Sunday, when I get to, my practice, I'm going to start Ashtanga. Well, Friday night, I finish work. I don't have anything to do. I'm sitting around looking around. What am I going to do? I look at my mat and I'm like, let's do Ashtanga. Okay. So I get it out and I do an hour and a half practice. And oh my God, this shit felt good. So that was cool. And I was happy. And I was like, this is great. Saturday morning, I wake up and, first thing you do, you go to the bathroom. I go to the bathroom and I hear myself saying, we're going to do Ashtanga today. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then something was like, yeah, you should do like 7 days in a row. You should do a challenge. What? Who is this? What is this voice now talking to me? But I'm like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm still asleep, so why not agree? And so then I make my bed, I get dressed, I get on the mat, I do my practice. And it felt good for the second day in a row. And so that's Saturday. Oh no, I did my 10-minute practice that Saturday morning. Saturday evening, late, I'm looking around, nothing to do. I don't want to watch any more TV. What do I want to do? I look at my mat. I'm going to do Ashtanga. And I'm like, okay, fine. So this is now Friday night I've done it. Late Saturday night I've done it. Sunday morning I wake up and I'm like, I couldn't wait to get on the mat. And I'm looking around like, what? Who are you? So I couldn't wait to get on the mat and I do it first thing. And at that point, I'm like, well, I've done it Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday morning. I'm 3 days in. I think I'm already on my challenge. So at that point, I was like, well, we're just going to stick with it. And so all this week, I did. And, I still did my 10 minutes in the morning because I don't have an hour and a half in the morning to give up to Ashtanga. But I would do it in the evening at some point after work. And it didn't matter to me. And those of you who may know, I have a very odd sleep schedule. I may or may not sleep, but I usually go to bed around 2 or 3 if that's, what's happening. But anyway, so for me to do Ashtanga at like 10 o'clock at night, like I don't care. I got time, or if I start at 9:30, I'm going to finish around 11. Perfect, right? So that's what I did. And like day 4, day 5, everything, of course, is hurting because, it's a new practice and my body's not used to it. It hurts. But I still wanted to do it. And I think around day 5, I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this. But I mean, I'm already in it at 5 days, so I'm just going to keep going. And did day 6. And then it was like, okay, it's day 7. Do I keep going or do I stop? I mean, it really feels good. I'm feeling really good. And so then I had, day 7, I do my practice. And something says, you're good here. You can stop. You're good. And so I ended up doing 7 days, spontaneously, unexpected, self-prescribed, and it was phenomenal. So being consistent for 6 weeks committed to a 10-minute practice has this past week led to me committing to a 7-day, hour and a half long practice that has left me on cloud 9. Like, not only do I feel great mentally, I feel like because I love myself enough to follow through on my commitment, there's this extra zing. So that's just glorious and wonderful. And I'm so happy I've done it. I'm just psyched about that. What was the other thing that I do? Oh, meditating. So yes, I am back to meditating, which, I meditated for years and I was up to like a 30-minute practice every day, which was beautiful, glorious. And life was grand. And then, of course, I got upset and stopped and let that go for a couple of years, thinking I could live on just the benefit of my prayer and work and, like all of that. But that's nonsense. I need meditation. So I came back to it at the beginning of the year and I've been consistent every day. And I started actually with an app that a friend recommended to me called One Giant Mind. And it was great. I did their like 14-day lesson. Like it's a series of meditations teaching you how to meditate. And it was a practice that I hadn't encountered before, so it was a nice thing to do. And then right after that finished, though I should mention the app is a little glitchy. Like it gives you the option to record a journal entry after each meditation. Sometimes I would write the entry and then it would disappear, so it wouldn't be there. Sometimes, so it's a 14-day thing, I think. I would do like day 6 and be ready for day 7, but then I'd go to load it on day 7 and it would go back to day 6. So I couldn't move forward. But, we're practicing this meditation practice where whatever your meditation looks like, it's good. It's working out something. And so whenever that would happen, I would say, all right, this is good. I'm not ready yet to move to the next lesson. We'll just stay where we are and do this again. It doesn't really matter as long as I'm meditating. So I noticed that the app was glitchy. But when my 14 days did end, and it took me like 17 or 18 days because of those little glitches, I was feeling like I'm developing a regular practice. And I thought, well, to keep this going, the app has other options. So I was like, oh, let me do this 30-day challenge that they have. And I think I got into like day 4 or 5 of the 30-day meditation challenge. And glitchy app, it wouldn't load the next day. And then when I did get it to load, it went back to the beginning of the challenge. So I'm like, but you know what? I can still meditate. I can still program the number of minutes and still do the thing. And so that's what I've been doing. And I have a second meditation app on my phone that lets you set the amount of time that you want. So I've got a list of times starting from, I got 3, 5, 7, 10, 12, 15, 25, 30-minute meditation set up for myself. And so each day, depending on how I feel, I tend to run the 12 or 15-minute meditation. That's my normal practice. But there have been a couple of days where I haven't given myself quite enough time, but I want to get it in before the rest of my day starts. And so I'll just do the 3 minutes. And the length of time isn't as important as actually just committing to the act and doing it. So I feel good about that. Meditation is rocking, and it's helping me in ways that I should have known to expect, but I've been really glad that they're revealing themselves to me again. One of them is that, I'm also doing tarot readings on Instagram under the name textarot, TEXTAROT. And having that daily meditation practice where I'm getting quiet has made it easier for me to receive messages for my tarot reading. It's also made it easier, I practice the law of correspondence, which is, the question and the answer are the same substance and simultaneously available. So throughout my day, as I'm asking questions like, what do I need to know now? What do I need to do now? Those answers are falling even faster because I've cleared that space in meditation. And my meditations are still a little rocky sometimes. They're, the mind chatter is pretty great. Sometimes I'm all twitchy and like everything itches and but I noticed that over time that has died down. I was noticing it a lot when I started the 14-day learning, challenge, that I was really, really fidgety. And then by the end of the 14 days, I would only fidget like a couple of times. And then over the past couple of weeks, I noticed I don't fidget nearly at all. So there's obviously some settling that's happening. And something else that I'm noticing is that I'm moving through healing processes much faster and much more with greater clarity. And I'm seeing activity in my world with greater clarity. So all of those, that's good. And those are the benefits of meditation, not to mention that my sleep is getting better, but that's also related to the yoga. But meditating also helps because it relieves that stress that your body and mind are working out while you sleep. So it's all good on all accounts. And, obviously I'm going to stick with that because it's important. And then the fourth thing I've been consistent about is writing a letter to God every day. And, God, universe, whatever word you want to use that. But just that process of checking in and sharing with, obviously I'm sharing with my higher self and the entity that's greater than me, but getting it all out and, it's the writing is different every day. Sometimes it's a long list of requests because, we got shit to do and I need help. Sometimes it's just a short thank you that, everything is good. Sometimes it's thank you that shit was crazy today, but I made it through, and that was good. A lot of times it's just a lot of thank yous, which is great, because you can't ever express too much gratitude. And I am finding that my world is responding to me gratefully. And not that that's surprising. I mean, we talked about gratitude processes forever. Forever. I think any metaphysics teacher who's worth their salt is going to, at some point, and hopefully soon, talk to you about the necessity of a gratitude practice. Whatever that looks like. For me right now, it looks like my letters to God, and I'm grateful. And it just, what that looks like in my world is people responding to me positively, even when I ask, or when I ask, and even when I don't. Traffic not being an issue when I'm out driving. I had an instance last week where I was on the clock. We're planning to go somewhere, and I had to meet this person at a certain time, and this person does not play when it comes to their time. So I knew that, I had to make it happen. But I had an issue with my tire, showing that it was low pressure, and it kept losing pressure. So I was like, obviously there's a problem. And, I'm like, all right, I'm going to go clean my car. This was before I'm supposed to meet this person. I'm like, well, I'm going to go wash my car. And as I'm leaving from washing my car, I'm like, well, I wish they had a tire pump here. I could get this done here instead of having to go somewhere else. They had a tire gauge or a tire pump, and I go to use it, but they didn't have a sign saying that the gauge on it was broken. I, like any normal person, thought that the pressure that it was putting out was regular pressure like you get at any gas station, not that it was industrial strength. So when I got in my car and the sensors tell me that what should be, so I was at 24.6 pounds of pressure, it should be around 32, 29 to 32 is what we go for. That sucker said 70. And I'm like, so, I needed to get this fixed, and fixed quick. One, because I'm on the clock, and two, because I can't ride around with 70 pounds of pressure in one tire. That's not the business. And everything that had to happen to fix this tire, get me home, get me dressed, ready, and on time for this person, happened. And that was the universe responding to me. Now, what was the the metaphysics behind meta being beyond the physical. So when we study metaphysics, we're looking at the reasons why things are happening behind what we're seeing. I don't know what the issue was with the tire, and I don't really care too much about it because we got it fixed, and that was really the most important thing. And sometimes things happen not because there's a metaphysical reason for that, but because it encourages you to rely on your faith and discipline to resolve it. And as you do, that's the reason for it. Because you can't learn lessons in isolation, right? So yeah, everything that needed to happen happened, and I made it on time for my person. We went and had our beautiful event, and everything was blessed. So yeah, and things have kind of been like that. I've got all these little different projects cooking because I have more mental space now that I'm meditating. I'm not trying to keep it all in my head, and because I'm writing about it every day, I'm getting it out. And because I'm writing, asking God for help with these things, I'm getting the help I need. And I think before, in the past, I've always had ideas. And, if you know me, I've always moved towards them. But this particular period, these last 6 weeks, I have seen exponential movement on everything. And it's because I've committed to these 4 things that are important to me, and they're all working. So whatever your commitments you made at the beginning of the year, and we talked about, White Stone meditation, whatever word you got, whatever activity you decided was going to be important for you, I do hope that you are attacking it and that you are letting it work in you. Because, dude, it's only been 6 weeks. And life is fucking off the charts. Good. And you haven't heard that from me in quite some time. So, let's just see where this takes us, because I'm kind of excited, and I would love to hear your stories. We got big things planned for the channel. I got a couple cool videos coming up that I've been working on for weeks now that I'm thinking are coming to their final fruition, but we'll see. Otherwise, I'll just keep hopping on here as the Spirit moves me. You all can certainly let me know what's going on with you. That's what those comments are for. I look forward to it. I will talk to you, and I will love you in the meantime. See ya.